What's going on, guys? It's Raul Espinoza with the IO Entrepreneur, and I have a very special guest today. He's a Midwest country music singer, Mr. Royce Johns. Welcome to the show, Royce.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, man.
So, you have been in the music business now for about
5 years.
5 years? Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say 4. I thought 4 because when I was looking at some of your stuff. What sort of got you into the music business? Like, when you think back from your childhood, what got you into that in the first place?
Alcohol,
yeah, at a young age.
No, I didn't. I didn't sing till I was 19. I never thought I'd play music. I played guitar in my bedroom since I was about 13, 14. And I never thought I'd sing for a living. Never. I could tell you a million other things I'd be doing besides singing.
Really? Well, growing up, kind of, I remember because I played guitar for a little bit too, and just you see all this cool stuff, how they play and shred. What kind of got you into, first off, to pick up the guitar as opposed to another instrument?
Yeah, man. Guitar Hero. When I was about 12, I got Guitar Hero for the PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it the very first one, you think?
It was the 80s version, and it had
80s.
and I could name you every song on that. That was and then I got Guitar Hero 3, and then Rock Band came out, and I was like, okay, I'm
blown away.
And I got a guitar, and I was like, okay,
dude,
I'm gonna figure this out.
Rock Band, I didn't play as much, but Guitar Hero, that was really fun. My jam.
Yeah.
I remember when the first one came out. What is it? Bark at the Moon was on there by Ozzy Osbourne, and I would try to play on the hardest setting, and eventually learn, and got really good with the fingers. But
yeah.
So Guitar Hero, and then what was your first guitar you ever got?
It was a Cort Strat. It was a black Cort Strat, so it was like a Fender Stratocaster knockoff kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's about a $90 guitar. My dad bought it at a small music shop in York, Pennsylvania, and we lived out there at the time.
Really?
And it sat in my closet for 2 years because I just had no teacher, and I was not a great teachable.
You think
kid.
Were you very social?
No, really. I sat in my room and played World of Warcraft at RuneScape for years.
Really?
Yeah.
When was it when you noticed, were you were self-taught or something? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sat down, and when LimeWire was a huge thing,
LimeWire, I remember that. That's hilarious.
And yeah, I was listening to a lot of stuff that no one my age was listening to.
Okay.
I was listening to a lot of 80s kind of rock, and then I got into the 70s rock later. But I'm still a huge AC/DC fan.
Nice.
For understanding. It's such a unique act, and the fact they've stuck the same format, and they just kill it. It's just,
yeah. And
I would sit there and try to learn Angus Young licks. My first song I learned was Thunderstruck and Purple Haze, just the intro licks, and I sat down, I listened to the song, I look up guitar tabs, and I would sit in my room for hours and hours and hours and just try to figure it out.
So who would you say was your main influence when you were playing?
Starting out, it had to have been Angus Young, because I would sit down, and I was religiously in love with AC/DC. I mean, really? From High Voltage 1974, the first album, to If You Want Blood, their live album. It's I actually downloaded every song off of all those albums on LimeWire, and then I had to rename them all and look up the tracks online.
Wow.
That's how much I absolutely love that.
See, and that's what I think was just so crazy, because people that know you now and you're, what all that you do is all country. So for them to see that was kind of your background was classic rock. That's kind of mind boggling. That's really cool. I will say, you might appreciate this, but I grew up in Oklahoma. Country music was everywhere.
Oh yeah. And that's where Toby Keith's from.
Yeah, exactly.
Merle Haggard's from Oklahoma.
And Carrie Underwood, a lot of people, Reba, they are great singers, from, my hometown. And, but so I heard it all the time that I got tired of it, because it all kind of, to me, sounded a little similar, and I loved metal, I love rock guitar. But what attracted me to your music that I actually enjoy, by the way, I listen to every song, and I'll tell you here shortly which ones I like, the intros to. But
what you listen to the what now?
I will listen to all your songs on iTunes. To kind of,
you might be the first person
dissect. Well, no, dude, I wanted to dissect each song and kind of be well, okay, I see where I got the classic rock kind of feel from. And there was 2 songs in particular that I'll talk about that I think I saw that in. But what attracted me to your music was, you know, I'm local here in Uptown Ankeny. I like to support all local businesses I can. And so I was in Fire Trucker one day, just swinging by and saying hi to the bartenders up front, and you were playing live. And I don't know what kind of lick you were playing at the beginning, but it was complex. You weren't using a pick. You were using all your fingers. So like kind of that classical aspect. And it sounded awesome. I mean, you slide down to, I don't know what you do, but it sounded amazing. And so then I stopped and actually stayed and sat there and listened to you play. And it just was like, dude, this guy's good. And I, you know, I'm not normally into country, but you kind of brought that back into my head. Like, why don't I like country? Oh, because it all sounds the same to me, but yours doesn't.
The reason you don't like country music because you've been listening to radio country music for the last 20 years.
And that's it.
And that's where that's a longer conversation to be had, but it's,
of course,
it's pop music, essentially what's going on right now.
Well, that's what I wanted to dive into, is how you take some of that theory and your music, your own music theory that you created, into country, and how you transitioned from like classic rock influence into country. So can you tell us a little bit about that journey? Like, because I remember I pulled you up on YouTube and you're playing like Stairway to Heaven and like doing little fun things like that before you actually got started from,
man.
You know? And so I was curious of that, how you transitioned from rock to country.
Well, I don't know if you ever really like transition, but it mostly came down to like work and employment. I mean, I played in a trio rock band and I had to sing and play guitar, and like I really figured out how. I mean, I was the first time I ever sang in anything.
Really?
And, and like my bass player friend, Bryn Omi, he's this dude who's been playing in this scene for years. He taught me a lot of what I do, and you know, I'd pick out these songs I couldn't really sing because my vocal. I mean, like I'd never sang ever. It's just a muscle, you know.
So you started singing like a few years back, like
I started singing when I was 19. So you know, this was 2014. You know, fall 2014. We just started going to jams around town, and
wow,
I think it just really came down to what I was able to do with my voice.
Yeah.
I'm still discovering, you know, like I'm still working on my phrasing and breathing.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. It's like I'm nowhere near where I'd like to be in 10 years, but with the rock thing, I just don't have the voice or like you know, the endurance and stamina. Some of these guys can just belt out that stuff. Like, but when you're playing three hours a night, you know, let's say 4 or 5 nights in a row, you really have to pace yourself, and your voice has to be kind of has to line up with what you're doing. And I just couldn't cut it as a rock singer. And I love that music, man.
Yeah.
If I could cover everything by Van Halen and belt out DLR licks, I'd do it. But I just can't. I can't sing like, you know. I just don't have that.
One day, did it hit you like, holy crap, I can cut it out as a country singer?
I had like 6 country songs in the set, and I always liked like old country music. My grandpa and my dad always got me, you know, into it, but it was just never cool to me. I don't know why. I just didn't. I always kind of looked at it as, you know, as my parents' music. I didn't resonate.
It didn't.
I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it, and I mean now. I listen to a lot of those songs. I'm like, wow, these are the most well-crafted stories that can relate to like, and it's just from top to bottom. It's just like, it's like a well-written movie, you know? And that's why I love story songs. And, you know, with a lot of rock music, the licks are awesome. The guitar sounds cool. It's got an awesome beat, and but a lot of those songs, there's not a lot to them.
No,
I don't want to say a lot of them, but it's like, I could use a million examples, but you listen to like Chiseled in Stone, right, by Vern Gosdin, and it's it's about a guy who goes to a bar. He had a fight with his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and he sits next to a guy whose wife is dead, and he's telling her, you don't know about lonely till it's chiseled in stone. And it's like, holy shit, that's the
dude. There was a song you were playing I was listening to.
That's heavier than anything I've ever heard.
Well, you talk about lyrics, and I think some of the stuff that you've sung had some good lyrics in it. One of them was you go to the bar to have couple beers with the boys, And then you talk about you only had 2 because you want the road to be straight. And I love that part.
That's my friend Robert Deitz's song. Robert wrote every song on Truck Stop Souvenirs.
See, that album was pretty cool, but
he actually recorded it, and his version's way better than mine. It's on if you go to Spotify and type in Robert Deitch, type in Back to You. He recorded that song. To You, that's right. 2013. Well,
I like that. I like that little, sentence. That lyric was cool.
That's all Robert, man. He's a wordsmith.
It put the words into a visual for me when I was listening to it. So I'm like, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool. But going back to that whole where I discovered your music sort of thing when I walked in, I wrote it down here. It was, is it the game stays the same?
Oh yeah.
It had a good intro, like kind of a classic rock intro to me. Because you used electric guitar, right? That was
one. That was like one of the first ones I recorded.
Really?
I played every instrument on that except for drums.
Wow.
And we just played it.
Dude, that one was cool. I liked that one. And then the intro to Either Way, it had like a classical feel to the beginning.
That was in Nashville. I didn't play on anything. I just sang on that.
Really?
So get this, right? That like every song off that CD, this is down at Beard Music Group in Nashville. I don't want to interrupt you, but
that's all right.
Because you said you like what they do, and it's the closest thing to like anything magical I've ever seen in my life. Where
really
I went.
So tell me about your trip. Like you went to Nashville, and what all did that entail? Like,
well, so Robert wrote all these songs, right? And and a lot of these songs hadn't been recorded. Out of the 7, I think like 4 hadn't been recorded, and one was recorded by Bobby Bear. Robert recorded 2 on demos and CDs he did, and then 4 were songs that he's written with other people that never got recorded. So anyway, we took him to a studio in Nashville, and Robert's like, "You're gonna so this is the experience, right? You're gonna go in."
These probably loved it.
It was cool, man. He's like, "You're gonna go in." He's like, "I can't explain it to you because you won't get it until you see it." And Ted Stockton and other people that have gone there.
I've met him here.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude too.
So Ted just recorded over there. And I tried to explain this to Ted the same way Robert explained it to me. But he's like, he just didn't get it until he went there. And he told me, he's like, wow, it's exactly how you said it was. Well, but anyway, he's like, Robert was telling me, hey, you're going to go to the studio and you're going to get in a room with 7 musicians. You're going to play them your song one time, like just a tape, like on your phone.
Okay.
And they're going to jot down notes, and they're going to stand in a circle, and basically you almost will feel like they're not even paying attention because they're so relaxed in the environment, He's like, but they'll listen to that tape once, they'll set a BPM, and all 6 of them will go in their individual control rooms.
Yeah.
The band leader Larry is going to say 1, 2, 3, go, and every song on that CD was done 1 to like 1.5 takes.
What?
Yes. Every song on there. That's how, like, Either Way, they come up with the licks on the spot. They chart it out so they all kind of have an idea, like, just the framework of how the song is, but they come up with the licks on the spot. Then they'll do like a pass through, like, they'll run through it once or twice afterwards and be like, I got something here. I'll try this. Every song on there, they were done. Like, I mean, those are some of the, like, you take my voice out of it. I was blown away. We had like Derek Wells. He was Nashville's CMA Guitar Player of the Year 2 years in a row. And it's like,
sweet.
He's just the session dude on the day. And all these guys are the coolest. They're no ego, coolest people I've ever like just got to sit in a room and just like, I tracked, I just tracked the vocal. And then we went in and spent about, 2 hours on vocals afterwards per song.
Nice.
But, that entire CD, except for one track was already recorded.
Really?
Was done in like 3 hours.
So he just listened to your voice and was like, I like it. Let's record something, or how?
Robert or who?
Yeah.
Oh, no, did you
get invited to go to Nashville, or how did that
no,
happen?
You can anybody can go record there. You just got to pay for it. It's just their session time.
Cool.
You just rent them, you rent the players in the studio and the time basically.
That's super cool though.
Yeah.
You get to have that experience.
Yeah. Robert's been a mentor to me this last 1.5 2-year period.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's been really cool to me, man.
Well, I want to jump back a little bit to how you kind of got started. You were 19 when you headed out to Ames, right? Or were you already in Ames?
Yeah.
When you started
I lived
playing?
in Ames.
You lived in Ames?
I was 19, just turned 19, and it was September of 14. man.
So because you were underage, did you just go up to bars and be like, I want to play here, or where did you go play initially?
No, I just I went to, so on Ames there's a clock tower by Welch and Chamberlain where all the bars are. There's a come and go there, and there's like a little band pavilion on the northwest corner of that. Like, here's the clock tower, and then here's your band pavilion. Here's the come and go Outlaws, Size Roost, and stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, there's just a corner there, and one night I said, "Oh."
You just stood up there and started playing?
Just took my guitar out, and I knew like 3 licks on the guitar. I was like, dude, and then just like, I don't know, man. I knew like one song.
Did you do it like every day? Like,
no, I did it like 3 times, and then I went, and then I met a fiddle player, Matt Rottinghouse, and the same night, first night I went out, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got this thing in my car." He's like, I'll go get it. I didn't even know what he's talking about. And he brought his fiddle out and he started playing. Oh, okay, nice. Cool. And
okay.
then this other guy brought a cajon, and we're just doing this little street thing, and like 20, 30 kids come up and just, I don't know. No one really knows what they're looking at or listening to, and we're just screwing around.
So you just got up one day and just started.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I think is so cool about what I want to do on this podcast is just everyone thinks you got lucky or you're such a talent for voice, which I think definitely have a great voice. But
no, that's not true at all. There's videos. I could give one to you of me playing like the first 2 months, and I am the worst singer you've ever heard in your life. I'm serious. I'll watch it, and it makes me cringe and wince. It's the worst. I mean, if I just saw that video and I just saw like that person singing, which is me, I'd be like, just quit, stop. But you realize everybody's at a different phase in what they're doing. It's like, it doesn't matter. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Was there a point in time when you were like, dude, I'm not cut out for this. Like, I need to stop. But then you just somehow found a way to keep going.
Let me think about that.
Or like one day you were just kind of depressed and bummed out.
You mean yesterday? No, I don't know.
But seriously, like some people always get like,
I get that way now. I get that way more. I'm having more success, quote unquote, as I've ever had, and I feel that way about every month, every couple weeks. I get in zones where I'm like, am I getting better? Am I really learning anything? And that's why I've like picked up bass and started playing, like actually like cutting my teeth on some things so I'm gonna fill in with a couple groups and just like expand my horizon, I guess. And when I first started out, I don't feel like I ever really felt that way because I was like, it's all learning experience. I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought you had to have a degree to be able to play in bars. I had no clue. I'm like, I thought you had to have a degree to be in a band. I thought you had to be like musically versed to be able to communicate with that. And that's not the case at all. I mean, it helps to like understand your stuff. And which I'm still trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, you're improving your craft. And so that's kind of like a never ending road.
Yeah. It's like golf.
Yeah.
You just keep getting better. You can do it the rest of your life.
Improve your golf game. But so when did you start? Like, what was do you remember the first bar you played at?
Yeah. It was open mic night at Johnny Mac's on the east side. It's called The Gym. It's
The Gym?
It's by the Butter Cow, by like University, and it's by the, what I'm saying? I can't remember what road it's off of, but it's a couple miles right off the exit. And they had an open country night, and so get this is gonna trip your trigger, right? Okay. So they had a house band there every Sunday night. They'd have a jam. I went on Craigslist after I was doing the street thing in Ames, and I went and bought a PA, and the guy I bought the PA from was like, you should go to this jam and just see what it's all about. So okay. Nice. I'm like, I know like 2 country songs. I can do this. And anyway, I go there, and Dave Alstead's playing steel guitar. Well, to get a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, Dave Alstead used to lead the house band for Toad Holler and the Super Toad, the biggest country bar in like Iowa in the late 90s, early 2000s and whatnot. Okay. And he plays pedal steel guitar. Him and Al Cabela are the 2 best pedal steel guitar players in Iowa, period. And if there's someone better, let me know because I'm going to hire him. No, but like Dave, he was the first guy I ever got on stage with, and I sang like just horrible. It was just horrible amateur stuff, and he's like one of the most versed musicians. Like it's like something out of a movie where like it's like where someone has done like all these played in front of X amount of many people, been there, done that, and then some punk kid comes up and plays a couple songs, and my buddy has a cell phone video of me playing. And I'm watching Dave's face as he's looking at the band.
That'd be fun to watch.
It's horrible. And I'm just like the worst. I had no idea. I had no idea how to work a microphone, and just like, anyway. And he was just the coolest dude. Like, and it's like, right then and there, it could have been, he could have really
just stopped the show.
Yeah. He could have turned it upside down and been like, you need to get off stage or quit but no, it was that moment right there is just like, that could have been a pivotal, but they were all encouraging. They were all, That's cool. Just keep doing it, man. Yeah. And today, Dave just played. I have a band now, a 6-piece band where Dave's going to play guitar in, if he can and if everybody's schedule works out. But I have Dave's teacher Al Cabello plays steel. He taught Dave how to play steel in my band. I got Greg Valentine playing. Yeah, I have the best musicians in the band that I'm working with now, and I love these guys like brothers. They're the coolest dudes ever, and it's like. The moral of the story is like, there is no moral. That's it. No, it's really just be encouraging,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's nice to have someone who's you kind of put up on a pedestal to say something encouraging to you, because then you feel like you're doing something right.
Literally 5 years later, it was 5 years September we did our first gig at the Greenwood, all 6 of us, just to get Dave. I finally coaxed Dave into bringing his guitar out, coming out with the band. And it was the most fun I've ever had. And it was exactly like 5 years and a month later. And it's like, it was just such a privilege. I mean, even if we never do it again for whatever reason, it was like, I don't know.
Does he ever like bring it up and be like, dude, you've grown so much from that first day I met you to now? Like, did he ever mention that? Or
I don't know. I don't want to quote him.
Sure. But I bet, I
don't know.
That
maybe
first night
he was I guess he was interested enough to come play with the band. I mean, my fiddle player Greg talked to him, I guess, and just said, "Hey, we're doing this thing." And Dave's, he's a master, man. He's a master musician. Sure. He's a biologist. He's a really smart guy. So is Al. Al's a master electrician. They're both crazy, very, very smart dudes. And it's like they don't do anything by accident. Put it that way. And it's like to get to be able to play with them was just. I don't know. To me, it was like, wow, I could retire here.
Yeah.
That's it.
When was the point in time in your career so far where you felt like maybe I made it kind of thing, Like,
I don't know, man.
Cause you're saying like, well, I don't feel like, I'm good yet or whatever, like you're saying, but you are amazing. You obviously have a following, and
sometimes
that night, honestly, that one Friday here,
sometimes not.
You packed the place up and people were standing and weren't leaving. They'd stay and stand and listen to you play. When was the moment when you look out in the crowd and you're like, man, this is pretty cool. Like I'm actually doing it.
Oh, we did this Carson King thing last.
That's right.
So it was the last day of September or whatever.
It was like 2 months ago.
It was on a Monday, and Chris Ronaldo called me. He plays in a band called Decoy. Calls me up and says, "Hey, we should do something." This is Thursday, and the show was 3 days later on Monday or 4 days, whatever.
They had to kind of squeeze it in there.
Yeah, and I mean to put on a show at Seven Flags like that, get production, we had to con everybody to getting in there. And I basically was on the phone for 3 days, but once we did it and pulled it off, there was about 800 people there or whatever. Yeah. We had the governor come. It was crazy.
I saw that.
Keith Murphy emceed it.
He was all over social media, dude.
Dallas, not Martz, or he's the quarterback for. I don't know anything about sports, but we had Dan Gable sent a video in. Olympic wrestler.
That's cool.
He's one of the best wrestlers of all time, if not the best. But it's just like to be able to put that together, and then all the bands played for free, and I somehow got everybody to do it, and we just scheduled it. And there's a million people involved. It was not all my doing in any way. Yeah. Maybe I was 20% of it. At least I struck the match, but Chris struck the match on me, and then we went from there. But getting to play for that deal was pretty cool.
That was when he announced it was the cutoff, right, for the donation. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's crazy what he did. I mean,
yeah, dude. He's a cool dude. I talked to him. I talked to him on the phone yesterday. It was the Chiefs game.
Really?
He's cool. He's just like a normal. He's just like.
It's one of those diamond in the rough kind of things. Like it went so viral, and it just kind of everyone got involved, supportive. That's when I realized, man, Iowa is so supportive of their community. Man. And then, I saw that stuff you were doing up all over social media. And there's a guy here that does the Bacon Festival that I
Brooke Reynolds. Yeah, Brooke. So Brooks, like, that Carson King thing would have not happened without Brooks.
him.
Yeah,
Dude.
Brooks was like, he was sitting on the phone the entire time. He's writing the schedule out. He's getting people in line.
That guy's everywhere.
Have you got Brooks on this podcast yet?
I haven't, no, but I had to plan on doing that because
I'll coax him into it.
He had a Taste of Japan thing Sunday. I couldn't make it to, but he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And
if you can get him, you should.
He knows bacon.
He's a cool dude.
For sure, dude. That'd be awesome. And that's how I kind of noticed that he was like posting about it because we're friends on Facebook and we've met a couple times here. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that, and then I saw, you're up there because I was following your page and all these people, and obviously the Carson King stuff we were doing here was huge, and that's how I got to get to know him a little better. And so
he's a cool dude.
Yeah,
he's
very
dude.
Interesting.
He's a very interesting guy.
I really can't wait to have him on here. And he was on the list, but yeah, man. So after all that, and you realized, maybe you got something going, how did you ultimately find your voice? Because that was one question I wanted to ask you.
I don't know if I found it yet.
Well, I don't
know.
That's
man.
what
I don't know.
I mean, one thing that people recognize you by is your voice, I think. So, at least in my opinion, and everyone agrees. So, did you just kind of start singing when you were singing, and it just happened, or because you're slowly kind of trying to craft it, right?
Well, because I always played with bands before I started doing the solo thing, right? And it's like when you sing in a band in bars, you're always trying to sing over everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And not till I sat in my room with an acoustic guitar and just tried, sang a couple different songs and recorded them, put them out there. It's like, then you really figured out, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot more to this than just being over the volume of everything. And I don't know if I've found anything. I guess I just do what I do, and I keep doing
naturally.
It. I don't know, man.
Well, I know, I forgot what song you played. Someone asked for you to play, but anyways, you sounded like Johnny Cash to me.
Love Johnny Cash.
He's one of the ones I really liked and enjoyed, just the way he tells the story. But the way you could tell he sounds good on the mic, and he's like one voice that you just want to hear all the time, when you listen to his music. So I didn't know if he had any influence.
Oh yeah,
in what you do, because
Johnny Waylon Williams, the Highwaymen, Chris Christopherson, Jerry Jeff Walker, David Allen Coe. I mean, there's a million of them. I mean, Keith Whitley. I mean, Vern Gosdin, he's the voice. I mean, okay, I just said the list would go on just forever.
It's just that's one that I'm like, dude, that sounds like Johnny Cash to me.
I always grew up to a lot of Johnny Cash music. So.
And the fact that, for example, how he plays guitar and you play, how can you even? Because I never could do that. It seems impossible. You're playing so complex with the acoustic guitar, but also singing complex, is it just your mind, your voice, and your fingers and everything detached from each other, and they think on their own, kind of?
I don't know if it's complex, but
it sounds amazing, and it's like you're doing so many things at once. I don't understand it.
Well, thank you.
I'm just being honest.
I don't know, man. You need to go to Nashville and watch these other cats play. It makes me want to quit. Try to see what they can do. But I don't know, with the looper, that emulates the percussion side of things. So it's like having a drummer. So when I'm playing guitar, I try to think like a Chet Atkins type deal, if I can. Okay. So I'm trying to play bass lines with my thumb and do really work the E, A, and D string, where I'm doing like a rudiment bass line type stuff. And then when I leave those strings open, it allows me to go up higher. And while the percussion's going, I can I can do some licks and stuff.
Sounds good.
I would like to learn more. I mean, there's so much. Like, you listen to Tommy Emmanuel. He's like the best one guitar guy in the world.
Really?
And he was like you ever heard, Chet Atkins is?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
So he was Mr. Nashville in the '60s, head of RCA Records and whatnot, and he was the guitar. I mean, he was the he would play with like a thumb pick and do like bass lines and do very complicated, intricate things.
That's crazy.
I look up to that. I've just never. I'm not that good yet, or I haven't discovered that. You have to like compartmentalize some things in your mind when you're playing, because like it for me, it's come down to like I got bored when I started playing, like just playing chords and singing. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm very bored. So I started doing the looper thing. I'm like, okay, opens a new aspect, and then now it's like, where do I go from here? I try to do the most I can do by myself.
I gotcha.
and just, I guess, to separate what I do from, I guess,
everybody
anything
else.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of my little niche thing I have. I mean,
yeah. Well, like, so let's talk about your life on the road for a minute. When your schedule's full every day, right? So
no,
is that how it works?
Not every day. In the summertime, well, my schedule's full with stuff every day.
I was gonna say, because you gotta be a busy man, dude.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I'm kind of weird, man. Well, I'm very weird, but I get in these phases, and Brett's over here, like, you know, he's like Jamie. He's Jamie. He's judging over here. He's waiting to get in on this. No, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I get in phases where I don't talk to anybody for 3-4 days at a time.
Yeah.
And especially this time of year when it gets colder, I just kind of, because I'm so busy in the summer, and I'm just like, I'm done.
Sure.
I get burned out, and like, I want to quit. And then I kind of get to mid-October, and it slows down, and it's the best feeling ever. I'm like, right now, I am, you know, the happiest I've been all year, because I'm just like kind of getting to slow down, and I don't know.
Well, I've seen on your page you have like your calendar for November. You play at some bars and here and there.
Like 9 or 10 supers. I mean, it's almost like it's kind of my off time, you know.
Yeah,
it's Friday, Saturday.
Well, so, you know, after all this, you still find time to hang out with family and just do your thing. Like, what do you do aside from all your shows and just to kind of keep your brain in check, you know, to relax? What do you like to do?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I hang out with my cousin, Connor, quite a bit. And one of my best friends just moved to Elkhart, and that's nice. He just had a daughter. So,
cool.
You know,
that's close by then.
Yeah, man. They just moved to town, and that's awesome. He lives there now. And, you know, I don't know. I hang out with some of my neighbors, and I don't know, I just, you know, tinker on stuff and work on whatever cars broke down or some.
Nice.
You know, we're always tinkering on something. I mean,
yeah.
Just keep your mind busy. I guess just
when's your like busiest time of the year then? You said summer, maybe
May through September. Stupid.
Really?
Because you get into county fair season.
I was gonna say, do you always play every year at the state fair?
The last 2 years I have. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I
bet that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's actually been playing the Iowa Craft Beer Tent has been really cool. I just did Stockman's for the first time this year on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
That was cool. Yeah, no, the state fair is great. Not only in my favorite part is that you see a lot of different people throughout the year. You know, because it's like the central place where you see a lot of people you see every year.
Yeah.
I get calls. Like, I just did a show last night in Waterloo. It was a bacon, kind of a bacon fest type deal, bacon brew barbecue deal. And it was someone who just saw me at the state fair, and it's just like, well, that's okay. So obviously everybody from, you know, the state travels to the state fair, and that's, you know, it's like a central landing point where people see what you're doing.
It blows my mind because I'm from Oklahoma. I thought that state fair was big, but this one blows my mind.
I think it's I think it's the biggest.
It's a big business. I want to say it is because
I don't know who else would have a bigger one.
Unless you've been to it, you have no absolute clue what it's like. I mean, and it's so clean
wild.
there.
Yeah.
To me, I was blown away how clean the whole place was for what it is.
Sure.
And it's just,
only sell 1 million tickets. You get some options.
Oh man, it's so big. So to play somewhere like that, I mean, I'm sure it gets crazy and packed. So that's probably a good reach for you for when you're trying to just get more audience, you know? And so what I'm trying to ask now is like, how can someone help a local artist like yourself? Like, do they
buy every CD on my
every
website?
CD?
Buy 1,000 CDs on my website.
So would you rather them go to your website than go to like iTunes, or because that's how I kind of looked at your stuff was through iTunes? You'd rather go to a website?
Yes, yeah, because I mean, with iTunes you get I'm trying to think, it's what 65 or 74 cents per
they
dollar.
charge you. Okay.
Yeah.
I should have thought of that. I didn't realize that.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's actually, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. I think it doesn't really matter because I'm almost out of CDs for this one. I just, you know, we did for Truck Stop. I'm almost out of like physical copies, and it costs so much to like make the CDs, and you have to buy the licensing because the songs I didn't write those songs.
Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of a large investment commitment at the beginning, you know, and a lot of those get like, they might get given out for promotion. I don't know, and you got to lug them around. So I mean, if someone wants to buy 1 million copies of my record on Spotify or on
sweet,
Apple,
right?
iTunes, it'd be awesome.
What so like
retire.
One Last Two Step is this year came out?
Yeah, I just put it out last month or September.
So that's not like you went and you recorded it locally then?
No, that was done in Nashville.
Okay.
I co-wrote that with Robert who wrote Robert Deitch, who wrote the Truck Stop Souvenirs record. And
so you actually wrote that one.
Yep, I was in the room, and I don't like to say it was my idea. Robert had the title; it was his. He called me up before we drove down there to co-write, and Roger Murrah he co-wrote it too, and
cool.
It was Robert's idea. I don't like to take credit for anything; it isn't mine. And he called me up one day. He's like, I had this dream, I had this line in it. It's One Last Two Step. I'm like, that's brilliant. It's like nice. I've never heard that in a song.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to go that route? Like start writing more of your stuff? Like, are you learning how to do that better?
I hope I am.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I'm actually like, because
I remember reading you were saying like, I don't want to call myself a songwriter yet because I'm just learning.
Yeah, that's true. Man, you've read everything about it.
I like to do research, man.
That's good, man. That's so funny. So many times I get into like booths with people or some sort of interview, and they just like totally biff facts or it's
probably weird.
It's fun. I don't care. It's just funny, but you actually like kudos, man. Well, there's two ways to look at, there's many ways to look at it, but I look at it, I think, two ways. Is I guess, what are you writing the song for?
Yeah.
Are you writing it for, intrinsic value for yourself, or are you writing it for a commercial value? Are you writing it for a means to an end to like, for someone else to cut? So like if you go to Nashville, just think of it like a day job, right? You're right. If you somehow magically land a publishing deal, you write songs, I guess, every day. And the deal is, you get a draw. So you get so much a month, depending on what deal you have. You have a draw. You might get your $2-3 a month. And then, if you write a hit, let's say if that deal's for 2-3 years or whatever, and say the first 2 years you have nothing. Then that third year, last month, that third year, you write a hit,
Yeah.
But and that pays off all that draw money. So they, it's like a loan. They pay your bills. But the problem today is, streaming. People don't buy CD. Okay, let's say if you're talking about today versus 2000, right? So if you're a songwriter in 2000, let's say you get a Tim McGraw cut. Okay, like I'm not saying number one, but let's say you get something that charts and is on a Tim McGraw CD.
Okay,
automatically. I mean, you're it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
I don't want to say a metric because it could be whatever, but today, I mean, Chris Stapleton's Traveler, I can't remember, it was like a couple years ago, but it was like it sold 400,000 copies, and that would have been like, and that's like the best record to come out in the last 10 years. And it's like that, if that only sold that, in early 2000, that would have been like, you would have got dropped from a label in the late 90s. So the moral of the story is people aren't buying records, and you don't get that 9 cents per song per record anymore.
Okay.
You still do for whatever they do sell, but in streaming world, every time someone streams a song, let's say if I've written the song and I own all the publishing for it, that's only 0.6 of a penny I get per stream. So 1 million streams is $6,000. 100,000 streams is $600. I mean, you can't even cut a demo for $600.
See, and that's what's crazy.
$700
because of the way the world is going. Everything's now, and streaming is so big. So what can you tell all of your followers to do that might help? So you said just buy the CD then.
Yeah, if you buy the record, that's. I'm trying to think of a good answer for this. Instead of buying a ticket for a show nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the shows I do are free entry, right?
Yeah.
Imagine your ticket as, if you buy the CD for $10 or whatever, I mean, it costs $10,000 to make that CD. That's like you buying a ticket and you get something out of it. It's not like, if I was playing like vaudeville muses across the, United States, like small, like indie kind of venue-y places, and charging ticket sales just to break even, and living on the road for 5-10 years or whatever. I just have a different business format, like I'm more of an entertainer, I feel like, than an artist at some point, which is like, that's kind of another longer conversation to be had. But yeah, I mean, I guess if people really want to support a artist or whatever, if you buy their T-shirt, you buy their CD, that's going to help them out a lot.
Okay.
I mean, because that's where they make their money. You know.
Gotcha.
You know.
Because I mean, I just was curious because I even was under the mindset of I download this song off iTunes. It's really supporting the artist, which in a way
it is. It definitely is. It's
but
they just get their cut, and that's fine. Actually, it's a pretty fair deal. It's like I think 65 or 75 cents I get per song. It's just totally. I mean, that's awesome compared to Spotify.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm just like wondering, like, if there's an artist people that are listening really enjoy, and they want to know how much more ways they can support it. That's why I wanted to ask you that because you're like,
buy their music if you can.
Yeah.
If you really But on the other hand, it's like if you already pay for Spotify and Apple Music, like I get it. I mean, I have an Apple Music subscription because they pay out songwriters per stream more than Spotify right now. That's a longer Congress deal, I guess, with the singer-songwriter thing. But if you want to support an artist, stream their song, put it on repeat every night when you go to bed, so you get that.
Oh yeah, so it's every time they play it. Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. So where are you playing next? Someone could catch you playing at here.
That's a great question. Let me look.
Because I know we're at the garage for you guys listening.
November 22nd.
That's November 22nd,
I know that
and he starts at 7 p.m.
I'm at Cabaret in Ankeny, November 9th. This Saturday.
Cool. So. Sweet. So you can catch Royce this Saturday at where was it? Cabaret here in Ankeny.
On the north side.
Visit his website at Royce. Is it Royce Johns Music or Royce Johns?
Just RoyceJohns.com.
Just RoyceJohns.com. Thanks for being on the show, man.
You bet, dude.